A man mixed cocaine, meth, and some Xanax, providing for him an uncertain fate. Under doctor's care, he begins to feel better, then feels it's time to masturbate.
What the hell is with Florida, where all crazy shit seems to come from? A week won't pass by without lots of stories proving that Florida's dumb.
Yeah! That was sick!
All right, everybody, welcome to another week in the Doe and 5-0 show. Now, you may be wondering to yourselves, why are those jack wagons starting off with the Florida song this week? You idiots, that's the second segment every week, right? Well, in honor of my illustrious trip to the beautiful, sunshiny state, they say, it rained a lot while I was there, of Florida. Believe it or not, Joe, it's time for Florida Deuce. That's right, all Florida, all the time.
I figured you'd come back with a lot of material. He's been very quiet about it. He just came in here, we got everything set up, and I thought, he's not telling me shit. That means it's all coming up, I'll bet.
So we've got nothing but Florida stories. It's not going to be a super long show unless Joe goes off on a tangent, so it'll probably be the longest show we've ever had.
Are we going to have politics?
We will end the show with politics. That's not Florida related.
It'll be a long
show.
instead
of 3 segments this week, it's just going to be Florida, then the political, and then we're out of here. So
okay.
I shouldn't say most. As a lot of you know, I went to Florida last week with my family. We went to Disney. I don't know where it was. Worldland.
Hell, you were in hell.
So it was a very long week. You know, I've got a lot of friends that are like obsessed with Disney. It's like their go-to vacation. And
why?
I don't know.
That sounds awful.
You know, and it was great for the kids. It was fun. It was fun
Yeah.
watching the excitement on their faces and everything. At 41 years old, amusement parks aren't quite as fun for me as they once were. Disney is a lot of hurry up and wait. So by that I mean, my wife was hell bent on getting there right when the gates open and not leaving until they pretty much kick you out at the end of the day. And it's such a huge tourist attraction to begin with. It's amazing to me how many people from all over the world travel to this place to check it out. The amount of people that weren't speaking English that you're surrounded by, and you're
Logansport?
Yeah, but it wasn't uncommon to be walking like this in certain areas of the park, shoulder to shoulder with people. And
oh man, I can't do that.
But with that being said, there's a lot of different parks at Disney. We went to Magic Kingdom, which most people, when you think of Disney, you think of Magic Kingdom because that's where Cinderella's castle is, and that's where you see on most posters and stuff. We went there on our first day at the amusement parks. I could live without ever going there again. It's not.
Did your kids like it though?
They didn't even really like Magic Kingdom that much.
Oh, okay.
Riley kind of did. The older three that were with us, Elizabeth couldn't go because she's still in volleyball season here.
Right.
They all said that they would just assume never go back there again. The second day we spent in the park was at Hollywood Studios. Everybody really enjoyed Hollywood Studios. They have a lot of neat attractions there. Riley could ride everything that was there, believe it or not, but they were geared more towards older people. That was actually a pretty fun day. Still exhausting, but a fun day.
I probably wouldn't be able to ride a lot of the rides there.
And then the last park day we spent was at Animal Kingdom. I wasn't super looking forward to Animal Kingdom. Like I said, I've been to these places before, but it's been over 15 years since I've been to any of these parks. They've done a lot to that place since I was there last, and it was actually a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind going back there again.
What is Animal Kingdom?
When I went back there before, I just kind of remembered it being more or less an elaborate zoo.
Okay.
And while they still have all these animals from all over the world there, they have a lot of different attractions. Now, their biggest thing they have is, have you ever heard of the movie Avatar?
I've heard of it.
So I've never seen it. Blake and I started to watch it on one of our plane rides home, just so I could try and understand what I was. They have this attraction called Avatar there now.
All right.
And I won't go into the ins and outs of the movie because, like I said, I just started watching it with Blake. I still don't even really understand what I'm watching with it yet. But they spent this. I think Blake said they spent $500 million building this attraction, and it is. I'll have to show you some pictures later. The amount of detail that went into this thing is unbelievable. And if you watch the movie, you appreciate it even more because they've built this thing to look just like, different sets of Avatar. But basically this ride, or I say it's a ride, it's more of an attraction to me, but you're looping through this like cave we were in line for over 2.5 hours at the end of the day.
Oh.
I was completely over it. And, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, nothing is worth standing in line, especially after day 3 in a park, for
Right.
2.5 hours. And I still wouldn't go back and stand in this line for 2.5 hours for anything because, I'm old and tired and grouchy and I heard all the time. But with that being said, this attraction is, they fit close to 200 people on it at a time, but you don't know that. So you're winding through this cave for 2.5, 3 hours, whatever, cussing every under, it's just awful. But with that being said, it's not like your normal line because you're inside this cave and the scenery inside the cave it's amazing with all the detail they put into it. But basically, you strap into this ride, kind of like it almost feels like you're sitting on a crotch rocket, kind of. And then you're just staring at this wall, like you and I are staring at a wall now, and you're thinking, what in the hell, And they buckle you in, they fasten you in, and then they give you these 3D goggles or whatever, and anything, and what? Then all of a sudden, boom, this wall disappears out of nowhere, and you're inside of Avatar Land. And you're riding on the back of this animal from Avatar, which kind of like reminds me like a pterodactyl or something.
All right.
And you're just zipping and diving. It actually. It feels like you're there. It was amazing. It was really amazing. It really was. And of course they got like wind blowing in your face to make it feel like you're going through the air and everything.
Right.
It was really cool. It really was. Not 2.5 hours, 3 hours cool for me, especially at the end of day 3. Maybe if that's day 1, okay, maybe. Definitely not at the end of the stay for me.
But the kids really liked it.
Kids loved it.
Okay,
but they were. With that being said,
that's why you went.
They were all burned out by that time too. So
right, but that's why you went.
Of course, my favorite part, being the Star Wars nerd, was at Hollywood Studios because that's where the new Star Wars attraction is. Got the Millennium Falcon behind us here today.
Oh, do we? I was wondering what was back there. All right.
So it was cool. It was a pretty good trip. We took the kids to NASA. That day got kind of short. I was kind of bummed. That was the one day it rained a lot. Unfortunately, I got to see an old friend of mine down there. He watches the show. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
It's good to see you.
He watches the show on purpose?
He does, and he lives in Florida. He works security at NASA.
We have a lot of fans in Florida.
Yeah, we do. So, with that being said, I guess I rambled on quite a bit. I did bring you back a souvenir, Joe, from Florida.
I'm almost afraid.
You said something about wanting some Mickey ears. Donut Mickey ears.
That's perfect. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I'll wear these every day at work.
I got me one too. As I said, I was a Star Wars nerd, and maybe you saw that on my story before.
Yes, so. I did.
R2-D2, iconic character. New Star Wars movie coming out next month.
Is it really?
December, I mean.
What's that, 100? How many Star Wars movies have there been?
There's never enough. Never enough.
Oh, my gosh. I feel the same way about Rocky.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the headlines this week. We're going to start off, Joe, in Florida, because that's how we're doing.
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
Florida man arrested for launching filled diapers from a catapult at moving cars.
Field diapers.
Full diapers.
Full diapers.
Filled diapers filled with, yeah.
Filled diapers.
Yeah.
Got it.
Florida man in Dade County was arrested.
Okay, first, that's funny.
It's gross is what it is.
It's funny.
A Florida man in Dade County was arrested for launching diapers filled with turds and pee at moving cars on a highway with a homemade catapult he built in his garage. Authorities state the man launched over 60 of these diapers.
Where'd he get them?
I was driving my car to the office this morning when all of a sudden a diaper exploded all over my windshield, according to a local Florida man. The diaper hit my windshield so hard I almost crashed my car. Splattered turds and pee were everywhere, and I had to pull over. The Florida man spent the last 30 days filling diapers himself with his own excrement.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
Once he had enough diapers filled up, he took his homemade catapult to an overpass and began to launch the diapers at moving cars. It's quite the sight to see, according to a Florida woman. I immediately pulled over when I saw diapers flying through the sky. Authorities say the homemade catapult could launch diapers at more than 70 miles per hour. The catapult was quite the ingenious contraption, according to police. I've never seen a weapon like that in my entire 30 years on the force.
Well, I'm glad.
The catapult was 5 feet high and weighed over 50 pounds. It could launch diapers a quarter of a mile.
Wow.
In total, the man launched 63 of these diapers at moving cars. The man was located and arrested and is waiting trial for endangering the public and assault with a deadly weapon. He faces charges, Joe, of life in prison.
What?
Yeah.
No, I can see their punishment for that, but there's so many worse crimes. Think about They should utilize that in war.
Yeah. Florida man chases people around a local Walmart with a fresh turd from the toilet. Bystanders.
We're on a we have a theme going here, don't we?
Bystanders of a local Walmart in southern Florida said a man raided the women's bathroom for a poop. A lady said she was in the bathroom with her daughter when a distraught-looking man busted in the stall next to her, screaming incomprehensible words. Before she knew it, he had a fresh turd in his hand and proceeded to wave it around like a wand. The Florida man continued his escapade with his fresh brown friend outside of the bathroom in the local Walmart. The man started to chase innocent shoppers with the fresh turd. I didn't know what was going on, according to local Walmart shopper Cody Rowland. I was just minding my own business. Then a man with a fresh turd started chasing me around. I haven't been that scared my entire life. After chasing several individuals in the Walmart, the man started to kiss the turd. He was kissing the turd like it was a Snickers bar, said a local shopper Cody Rowland. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I've never kissed my Snickers bar.
The man was located and arrested and is awaiting trial for disturbing the peace.
I would imagine there's some drug use in there, or lack of drug use. That's funny. Everyone knew it was a fresh turd. He's running around. Well, my God, that's a fresh turd, isn't it? How did they know that?
They know their shit down there in Florida. They know.
Apparently so.
So check out this guy's mugshot show. It's gone viral.
Oh, my. Wow.
Wow. This isn't much of a story. It's just that his mugshot went viral. Deputies in Marion County got more than they bargained for during a traffic stop with an expired license plate. Deputies found Rocky Dealey, age 34, driving with a suspended license. Logan Tyndale, age 20, lied about who he was and had a felony warrant out for his arrest. And Caitlin Spurl, age 20, was caught with a handgun and drugs, including meth and cocaine. Like I said, the story wasn't that funny. It's just that when they mugshot and got released down there in his section of Florida, Dumbo took off.
I would grow my hair a little bit longer, I think.
A lot of bad hair. Then you would just have like, I don't, Princess Leia hair. Maybe you have those,
well, maybe,
those buns on the side of your head. I don't
anything to kind of cover that up.
Florida man arrested after the ID he showed to police turns out to belong to a wanted criminal.
Oops.
Florida man gave police another person's identity information, was arrested this week after it emerged the man on the ID was wanted on criminal charges. Joshua Wade Turner, age 46, of Destin, Florida, was detained in the early hours yesterday by deputies from Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office after officers were dispatched to conduct a welfare check on an individual who appeared to be passed out close to a bank. After arriving at the scene, the man gave officers a Florida ID card, Social Security card, and other credentials that had been issued under the name Patrick Pearson. Unfortunately for Turner, he was swiftly taken into custody after officers learned that the alias of Pearson had an active warrant under his name for theft. Deputies said they worked under the assumption that the ID cards were legitimate and noted Turner never did clarify his real identity. During the bookend process, which took place at approximately 1:30 a.m., police said Turner spat in the eyes of a detention deputy when he was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer. It was while being processed that the staff found that he had given false information. Alongside the battery charge, the 46-year-old was handed 2 fraudulent charges: possession of a forged or stolen driver's license and ID, and giving false identity to a law enforcement officer. He was being held by the Department of Corrections on a $2,000 bond. There he is right there.
Wow. So the guy, he stole this identity from somebody, but the guy who got it ripped off had to be laughing, knowing that this guy was going to get in trouble.
Oops. Florida man accused of enticing alligator to biting by pouring beer in its mouth. Out of Palm City, Florida, the man is accused of enticing an alligator to bite his arm and pouring beer into the reptile's mouth after his friend caught the animal. Timothy Kepke, age 27, of Southeast Croton Place in Hobie Sound, and Noah Osborne, 22, of the same location, were both arrested on October 3rd, one on a felony charge, one felony charge each of unlawfully taking an alligator. In August, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission got a complaint about Kepke holding an alligator and enticing the reptile to bite his right forearm and then pouring beer into the animal's mouth. After the beer is poured, the alligator aggressively reacts. The interaction was filmed. The records show a request for video has not been fulfilled yet. Officer said on September 17th they went to Kepke's home, where he told them he was the person in the video. Kepke told officers Osborne caught the reptile with his bare hands along Ranchwood Street in Palm City. After Osborne caught the alligator, Kepke told officers he enticed it to bite him and then began pouring beer into its mouth. The pair then released the alligator alive. Kepke also told officers he had a couple of beers, but he wasn't drunk when the incident occurred. Kepke told officers a female friend was there when the incident happened. On September 21st, officers spoke with a friend who confirmed what Osborne and Kepke had said. The woman told officers she thought that the reptile bit Kepke because of his actions. Officers issued arrest warrants for Kepke and Osborne in September and arrested both on the 3rd of October. They were both taken to the Martin County Jail with $5,000 and $2,500 bonds respectively, and they were released on October 3rd.
Why do you want him to bite him?
Well, he's an idiot, obviously. I mean, first of all, you got to be insane to wrestle with an alligator. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then you start trying to get it drunk. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Florida.
Florida woman leads police on hour-long chase through Big Lots ceiling after allegedly trying to shoplift. Florida woman wanted for allegedly shoplifting at a local Big Lots store was arrested after trying to make her getaway through a less traditional route. The ceiling. No. Christina Perkins, 37, was in the store located in Port Charlotte for several hours on Thursday night before she entered the women's restroom with a shopping cart full of merchandise. The store manager tried to check on Perkins in the bathroom, but noticed several garbage cans positioned in the manner to barricade the door. Perkins was advised that she was caught and police were on the way, but she never left the bathroom. The manager went inside to check and on her noticed tile missing from the ceiling, with Perkins nowhere in sight. Eventually, deputies spotted Perkins several times by removing tiles from various points in the ceiling. She allegedly didn't listen to their commands to stop and kept crawling through the ceiling. The store was evacuated due to danger of Perkins falling through the ceiling, as the 37-year-old allegedly led authorities on the weird chase, which lasted for nearly 6 hours. As they were trying to capture Perkins, a deputy found her purse, which reportedly had 3 syringes and a spoon with white residue that would later fill test positive for morphine inside. Eventually, around 1:40 a.m., Perkins was spotted coming down from the ceiling using a stack of shelves. She was then arrested when she made it to the ground. Big Lots, according to the sheriff's office, suffered significant damage to their ceiling, ductwork, and drywall, and that the store will remain closed until the repairs are made. Perkins was charged with felony criminal mischief, petty theft, possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting a merchant, and resisting law enforcement without violence. Miko man tells deputy you missed after they attempted to taser him. A man was arrested Wednesday during a traffic stop after he stated, "Shoot me," to a deputy as he pulled out a birdcage from his vehicle. The deputy observed Daniel Wutkus, 62, of Miko, making an illegal U-turn once he exited from I-95 to US 192. While attempting to pull over the vehicle, the driver, an older white male with gray hair, began to wave rapidly as if to indicate I should pass him. I advised him via the PA system that he was being pulled over. Once the subject pulled to the side of the road, he quickly exited his vehicle and grabbed a birdcage. The deputy drew his firearm and ordered Wutkus to stay in the vehicle. However, Wutkus refused to comply and told the deputy, "Shoot me," as he began to walk away, according to the arrest affidavit. Wutkus took the birdcage and walked towards the emergency animal clinic, where he opened the door. At the same time, the deputy discharged a taser, but he missed. The male looked back at me and stated, "You missed," and then proceeded into the business. The deputy then stuck Wutkus with a second taser and took the subject into custody.
Apparently he got him that time.
Wutkus was charged with resisting an officer and transported to the Brevard County Jail, where his bond was set at $500. Guess he was wanting to get that bird some veterinary assistance.
That's an odd story.
It is an odd story. You missed.
It didn't say anything about the bird. It just said it was a cage.
I wonder if the bird was okay.
Maybe he was getting the bird.
Maybe. I don't know. Florida woman accused of stealing from Walmart pepper sprays employees before escaping. Florida woman is still at large after trying to steal merchandise from Walmart, then pepper spraying the loss prevention employees and threatening them with a knife. On Sunday, just after 5:47 a.m., Doranda Joe Ussery entered the Walmart store at 2000 State Road 60 East in Lake Wales. Authorities say she shopped for over 2 hours before heading to the self-checkout registers. Loss prevention approached her and told her not to forget to pay for the sunglasses and backpack she was wearing. Ussery reportedly stated she no longer wanted the glasses and said the backpack was her boyfriend's. She paid for $16.34 worth of items before heading to the exit. She set off the security alarms and an associate stopped her. Police say she fled into the parking lot, dropping several cards with her name on them on the way. Loss prevention told Doranda that they had her ID from the cards and that she followed them back into the store to the loss prevention office. She said she was on probation and had 2 children, and that she would return the stolen merchandise if they did not call for law enforcement.
But she wouldn't if they did.
Loss prevention said the stolen property totaled $358.23. Before they could contact police, Ussery removed a can of pepper spray from her purse and sprayed it right in their face. The incident's caught in video, which we'll put up there for everybody to see. Ussery then sprayed 2 other associates that were in the office with him. They got the pepper spray away from her, at which point she allegedly said she had a knife. Authorities said she pulled out a knife that had a blade 3 to 4 inches long.
Dang.
They also said she made a motion as if she were going to stab them and even raised it over their head. 2 associates were able to escape the room and block her swing the knife while backing away. Ussery ran out of the office and loss prevention ran out behind her. She ran into the parking lot, entered the passenger side of a red Chevy Cruze, and then left the area. Lake Wells police received a call of disturbance involving a weapon and responded. They were unable to locate the vehicle or Ussery. The tag number on the vehicle led officers to work with law enforcement in Highlands County, who was also familiar with her. There's a shocker. The vehicle and driver were located, but Ussery is still at large as of Monday evening. A warrant has been issued for her arrest.
Wow.
You know, if she's got pepper spray and a knife, I don't know that loss prevention should be chasing her around to the parking lot over $300 worth of merchandise. It's not like Walmart doesn't get ripped off way more than that every single day at every location.
That's, it's too bad people do all that stuff, because I wonder if prices would be even lower at a place like that if they didn't have all that theft.
Yeah, it could be. Bong, misheard as bomb, prompts evacuation at a local Florida high school. Misheard word led authorities to evacuate a Florida high school Thursday morning. Wednesday afternoon, Marianna High School, a student's family member called a staff member stating that the student had items in their book bag that were inappropriate. The caller stated the student had a bong in the book bag. However, the Jackson County School District said the word was misheard, prompting an emergency evacuation. The investigation has determined that the staff member misheard the word during the telephone conversation. Instead of bong, the staff member apparently heard bomb. There's a clear difference between the two.
There is a clear difference.
Superintendent Larry Moore thanks the quick action by all of Marianna High School administration and staff as we strive to keep our students safe. Oops. What happened to the bong? That's what
I don't think anything happened with the bong.
Well, Joe, it's time for the...
He went out in the parking lot, was using the bong while they were out because of the bomb.
Everybody leaving the school, dude? It's time for the story that inspired your brilliant songwriting this week.
Well, thank you.
Florida man smokes meth, snorts cocaine, takes Xanax, passes out, then, of course, masturbates in the hospital.
He doesn't look like somebody that'd do all that. Yeah, he does. He really does.
Yet another Florida man trifecta achieved. This is an upper echelon Florida story, folks. Needless to say, they found him with a bunch of drugs, but hey, that's to be expected. This guy was supposed to be at work. He decided to go hard and snort cocaine and smoke meth first. Then it must have seemed like a good idea to take a bunch of Xanny pills on top of it. Followed, of course, by passing out, at which point he shortly ended up later at a hospital. Much to the chagrin of the ER staff, he decided it was a grand idea to whip it out and start spanking his monkey right there on the spot. He was also urinating on himself and crawling on the floor.
Oh, my. I hope this was all videotaped so they can show it to him.
They got HIPAA. He's facing a slew of charges anyway, but where do you even start with that? I mean, he smokes meth, coke, takes Xanax, passes out from all the fun he had, and then he decides to whip it out and start...
I mean, he might have still been high, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. At least he didn't turn around with a big blue pool noodle sticking out between his legs.
It's genius. It was genius. That's all we got for this week in Florida, folks. The last segment this week is This Week in Political Garbage. Stay tuned.